We're talking about an organization in Detroit that's changing lives far beyond the classroom. Developing K.I.D.S, which stands for Developing Kingdoms in Different Stages, is focused on strengthening communities through youth development, family engagement, workforce readiness, and community support.
The nonprofit offers free, high-quality programs for children and young adults across Metro Detroit, helping them build confidence, leadership skills, and opportunities for the future. The organization serves youth in Southwest Detroit and has since expanded to serve more than 1,000 young people annually.
And along the way, Developing K.I.D.S has maintained an impressive 99 to 100% high school graduation rate among participants.
That's phenomenal.
I mean,
that is phenomenal.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And joining us today is Samyah Hairston with Developing K.I.D.S. She's here to give us the scoop on what the program is all about, how far they have come, and a special celebration that is on the horizon. So first, we'd like to welcome you to Live in the D+, Samyah.
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. Thank you, ladies.
We're super excited to have you, really. Whenever it's anything that has to do with young people and cultivating them and growing them into phenomenal adults, we're all about it.
Absolutely.
We really
That's what
are.
we're all about. So
Appreciate
first, let everyone know what Developing K.I.D.S is all about, and maybe you can talk about why it's very special to you.
Yeah, so Developing K.I.D.S is a nonprofit on the northwest side of Detroit. We're super excited to be going into our 20th year of service this year, providing free and high-quality after-school programs for young people, summer employment opportunities, and also full-day summer camps. So we're pretty much doing things year-round to provide for our families, all at no cost. So removing that barrier of cost, we don't limit young people based on their zip code, the school they go to, their GPA, or any of those things. And so we're just super excited to continue that work and continue to bridge the gap of opportunity for our young people.
And I love how you mentioned breaking down barriers, one being financial, the other being GPA, because I'm glad that you mentioned that, because sometimes kids are struggling in school and programs don't accept them because of that. Now, why was that important for you guys to do?
Yeah, so it's really important for us to just remove whatever barriers may exist because we do emphasize academic enrichment. So if a young person is struggling, we're there to help them. And so that's what Developing K.I.D.S is all about, in being the village of helping to bridge whatever gap may be there. So it might be academic. They might need a tutor. So we call in volunteers. We have former educators who come in to volunteer faithfully to support our young people during our homework time that we have pretty much every day during after-school programming. And so we don't want to limit young people or stop young people from wanting more and for those families getting connected.
That's really amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, like they say, it does take a village.
It does.
And you guys are like the connectors. You're like, oh, we know this person who can help with this subject or that subject, which is amazing.
That's really wonderful.
Talk about your experience as a child.
Yes, so I was a young person in Developing K.I.D.S around 2007. So from elementary to middle school, I was connected into the program. I experienced a lot of firsts at Developing K.I.D.S, first being trusted adults outside of my family and my parents, but also those leadership opportunities of supporting classrooms, of taking the lead, of Developing K.I.D.S putting us through Toastmasters courses, and we're like, we can't say so just learning those life skills and different things, changing a tire, the whole nine, and also just different experiences like basketball games, like things you don't think about as a first for young people really truly make that difference. Developing K.I.D.S also supported me in college when I was a junior and I was struggling to find an internship, and they helped me to land an internship at a Fortune 500 company. And so again, just bridging those gaps and trying to figure out where Developing K.I.D.S can support is what we're best at. And we continue to do that for more young people. And so for me, the special thing is being able to see how the organization has evolutionized right before my eyes for the young people that we serve today. So we have so much more people have been added to our village, so many more people supporting the organization, and so many more ways in which we support our families, and those things look like wraparound support. So we think, what does a young person need to be successful? And we think the basic things, but what about, have they had dinner? Have they had breakfast, lunch, and a snack? And so making sure that we meet those basic needs while also supporting our young people to thrive.
That's really incredible. So it's not just an after-school program. This is a lifelong connection and relationship that's being built. And I can say that that's kind of what happened to you, because you went through the program, you went to college, you did your internship at the Fortune 500 company, but now you work for the organization. Why was that important to you?
Yes, so that was really important to me, as when I was completing my internship at this company and I realized Developing K.I.D.S had a need for social media and marketing, and that's what I went to school for. And so it was a conversation with myself and our CEO of how can I support the organization that supported me. And so over time, it kind of snowballed and turned into this full-time role, and it's just been amazing because not just for myself, but 25% of our team are former participants and alumni. So a lot of us have gone off to college and come back and said, okay, we see a need in the organization that poured into us. What can we do and where can we fill in that gap?
That says a lot about the organization when the kids want to come back.
They want to come back and they want to pay it forward to the younger generation. I mean, that's just incredible. And like, I love how you said, it's been fun to watch the organization grow. It's celebrating 20 years this year, which actually, I know the founder, I had interviewed her previously, and believe it or not, it started on her front lawn. She just was helping. She's like, these kids need something to do. They need a place to go. So that's amazing. It's really grown since then, as so have you. Talk about this new space that was purchased. I believe it was 3 years ago. That's when I did a story on it when I found out about Developing K.I.D.S. Talk about it now and what it's doing to serve the community.
Yes, so we did purchase a space in 2022, so a 23,000 square foot facility, and this would allow us to serve at full capacity. So we are able to now serve over 1,000 young people per year. We have 8 beautiful classrooms in this space. We have a multi-purpose space where all 300 of our kids can have lunch and dinner all in one space.
300 kids. Hold on, we can't skip over that. That's a lot of people at one time. So that's awesome.
Yes, imagine summer lunch and it's all the kids in one space, and we're not having to pivot and shift from classroom to classroom or put more than one grade group in one classroom. Everyone has their own space, their own classroom. They have their spaces outside, and the children have really come to love the space, and they own it. Like, this is our building, so they've been taking care of it and just really enjoying it. They cook in their classes. They were making pho. I walked in the classroom, and they're making pho in the classroom.
Can they teach me?
I know, right?
So this space has truly just allowed our programs to continue to flourish, and especially allowed us to serve more families and young people. So that's a blessing.
And having a home base like that is so important, because Kim was telling me about the first time she went out there and interviewed your founder, and you said there was nothing there.
Yeah, I don't know if we have the video of it, but it was literally an empty building with like a hole in the ceiling. And the founder was like, and this is where the kids are going to eat, and this is a classroom. And I was sitting there like,
how's that going to happen?
Yes, and every bit of her vision came to pass. Even during the construction phases, she noticed every detail of, this is where we're going to store this, and this is going to be the self-care room, and this is going to be the AV studio. And so all of that that intentionality behind it, it really has come to fruition, and you see it in the space now, especially when the building is full of young people and they all have their own dedicated spaces and they're doing their thing. It's just beautiful to see, and for us to have the space to truly facilitate at maximum capacity.
I admire the founder's vision, because we were talking off camera, like, I can't do that. If it's not set up.
Even when you're looking at a house, and you're like, oh, that's a fixer-upper. I'm like, I can't do the fixer.
My brain doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
So that really speaks to your founder's vision and purpose.
She's amazing.
But talk to us about the importance of programs for the kids and the importance of having a space for them to thrive.
Yep. So it's really important for our young people. We serve youth ages 4 to 24. So it's really important for them to all have a safe space. You imagine a 4-year-old has a different struggle than a 19-year-old. And so making sure that we are able to provide whatever that support looks like, but also making sure that we're intentional in our approach. And so we notice that, our teenagers and our young people are going through things, just as adults do. Their families might be going through things, and that affects them on a daily basis. So making sure that when a young person comes to Developing K.I.D.S, they feel safe, they feel seen, they're able to get a hot meal every day. Anytime our doors are open, we're providing a meal to our families and our young people, and just making sure that we also value their voice. So we're not just putting on programs and saying this is what you need, but we have monthly parent chat sessions with our parents to ask, what do you need? What do your children need? What does your family need as a whole? And then we're intentional in implementing those things throughout our program, so that our young people aren't just saying, oh, they're putting something together for the sake of doing it, but no, I actually helped plan this event, or actually helped plan this or that, and I actually had part in the design of the building. That's one thing I didn't mention is Kim laid out all these papers before we moved into the building, and she asked the kids to pick the colors of their classrooms. So making sure that in those ways that the young people know that they're heard and that they are valued is really important.
And you're actually serving the needs at hand, right? Not just deciding, oh, let's start a knitting class. Well, that's not what they need.
Exactly.
Another thing that I really like is serving people up to the age of 24.
And that really struck a chord for me when you said that. I was really shocked to hear that.
Because you think you're grown at 18, but you're still not grown.
I'm still not grown.
I was talking with one of my colleagues, Hans, one of our really phenomenal cameramen, and we were like, heating up our lunch, the usual chit chat. And we saw something on TV that was talking about teens and jobs. He was like, why the heck did I want to get a job when I was a teen?
Why? Why did any of us?
And I was so excited about it, too.
I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, I remember like sleeping the night before my first day of work, and I was like, I get to work tomorrow.
Now, meanwhile, now we're like, we should have enjoyed that time maybe a little differently.
Yeah.
But that speaks to like when you're so young, you think you know everything, but you don't. And you guys are still offering support and love and guidance to people over the age of 18 up to age 24.
Yep, and so that looks like wraparound support. That also looks like our scholarships that we give out to our college and trade students every semester. They also can look forward to a care package. And I know when I was in college, that was one of I didn't receive a care package from anyone except Developing K.I.D.S. So
Like, what would they put in your care package?
They actually asked me what I wanted in the care package.
Oh, so
at the time,
sweet.
I'm like, can I get rice cakes? I need a new laptop case. I need pencils. And then we also include gift cards. So like you think someone needs something from Walmart or Target, we're putting those kind of things in there so that they can purchase whatever else they need. So we're putting in their favorite snacks, but also they might need to just buy groceries. So being intentional and asking those things. Sometimes they ask for like hair products or brushes and combs. We never know what it looks like. But making sure that we're intentional, because just like my experience, you never know if someone else is supporting them along the way. It's easier to get to college than it is to stay. And so those little things really do make a difference.
And you even experienced, getting help from Developing K.I.D.S, finding your internship.
Yep.
So that's a way that they're still supporting
Yes.
you well beyond the
Yes.
high school years.
Yes.
And then, I guess technically they're
Beyond
still supporting you
college.
now because you work there.
Yes,
So-
and it's awesome. And once you're placed in an internship, the magic in Developing K.I.D.S is we're not like, oh, congratulations, good luck. But someone is assigned to check in on that young person to make sure that everything's going well. Are you able to get to work on time? Do you need a bus pass? You might need support in buying clothing for the office space, just depending on where you've been placed. So we don't just push a young person out into the world and say good luck, but we're here and consistently are checking in and making sure that they have what they need and that they feel comfortable enough to share those things, because sometimes it can be embarrassing and you feel vulnerable sharing that you don't have the right tops or something like that for your job placement.
Wow. Well, I guess after 20 years, you kind of figure out like how to meet kids where they are, and you guys are doing a great job at that. You guys, can you talk to us about some of the biggest struggles that families have, why they would need something like Developing K.I.D.S and why it plays such a crucial role in helping the community?
Yeah, and so the first thing that comes to mind would be childcare. So you think our after-school programs run 2.5 hours throughout the day, Monday through Thursday after school, and young people are getting a full meal, homework help, and academic enrichment, and then also going into these different skills. So you heard me mention like culinary, STEM, and things like that. But you imagine if a parent has 4 children and they're all in our program, all 4 of them have received dinner 4 times in a week. And so you imagine how much that supports the family's budget, because you don't have to worry about dinner on the days that your young person is coming to Developing K.I.D.S. You don't have to worry about supporting them for hours on end with their homework if they're coming to Developing K.I.D.S, and we're supporting them with that. And that also goes into those wraparound supports. We never know what our families are facing and what they're going through. And so every Tuesday we also give out groceries for our community. We don't ask questions because, again, you never know if someone's just having a bad day or a bad week. And so we're also providing those groceries as a wraparound support, because we're assuming that everyone's eating before they come in, or that they have groceries to last throughout the week. But it's those things that folks are facing at home that they aren't comfortable enough to voice, that we're trying to make sure we're intentional about providing it, so that when those needs come up, we are there, and that trust is already built. And so we've noticed that as well, that when that trust is already there, a parent feels more comfortable saying, hey, I might need a bus pass for this, or I have an interview myself. Could you guys support me and coach me and provide what I might need to get into that? So just making sure that those basic needs are met, we're really intentional on that. And then also, we know right now it's really important for our young people to feel seen and heard and to have those safe spaces. And so we're really intentional about making sure that Developing K.I.D.S is a safe space. They come in and they have their own space to hang out. If they're in between the hours of after school and getting out of school, our teenagers have what's called the Teen Lounge, and it's my favorite room in the building, okay?
Oh, I'm sure you learn a lot of new words and slang.
And they're like, we don't say that anymore. And we're
Right.
okay,
Shoot.
but they have their own space where they can come play games. We've had basketball jerseys donated, so we make it that real teen feel that they want and that they love.
The vibe that they're looking for.
Exactly, so they don't feel out of place and that they truly feel comfortable, and that's the amazing thing about it. And also understanding that our young people want something to do. And so that's why it's important that our programs are year-round. Year-round, there's something for our young people to do. Even in the summer, we employ youth ages 14 to 24. We have 100 placements this year alone, so
100.
we know that 100 young people will be employed full-time. They will be busy, they will be tired after work, and they'll also get professional professional development training every Friday. So making sure that they have these spaces that we're keeping them busy, doing things that are productive, but also teaching them about themselves. They don't know what they don't know until we are willing to coach them through it.
Yeah, the
Looking at
professional
all these
development,
pictures
they're
just
adorable.
gives a great view of all the things that you have to offer. I saw
Really?
like some karate,
Yes.
some
everything.
CPR classes.
Oh, yes, they do all the things, especially in summer, because the difference between summer and after school is 2.5 hours, and summer is a full 8-hour day. So you imagine we can fit more culinary, more karate. Our foreign languages are always being taught every summer. We might have the exotic zoo come during lunchtime, and the kids are like going crazy because there's a kangaroo in the parking lot. So we fit so many cool activities into summer, along with that academic enrichment piece. The kids are learning for 3 hours during the summer. So we have a lot of fun, but that academic enrichment piece is really important to us.
Well, you're really building community.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not just a place to come.
Yep.
And even the respite for parents.
I was just gonna say, yeah, as a parent, like if my teenager is hanging out in the teen room
Yeah.
and they feel cool and comfortable, that is peace of mind
Yeah.
for me as a
Yeah.
parent.
With the little, because you know they're in a safe space.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that having worked in a program that I mentioned to you, people used to say things to us like, "Pff, you're just a babysitter
Oh,
on
yeah.
Saturdays, right? And,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I felt like, what's wrong with that?
Right.
Right.
What's wrong with that? Because we did what we could. It was just an afternoon thing. But if a parent can go and get 4 hours or 5 hours to themselves, what's so wrong with that?
Yes.
I mean, we got a lot of errands to run. So
Exactly.
So you're hanging out, you're learning something. You're
Yes.
same thing, having a meal, and you're
Yes.
spending time with other trusted adults. I think that that's a win in itself.
It is,
Yeah.
yes. And that community piece is really important. Actually, a funny story, I was leaving work and I saw a parent dropping off one kid, but she had two. And so I walk up to the car and I'm like, why aren't you dropping both kids off? And she's like, well, this one has a dentist appointment. So I'm gonna drop this one off so she can get her homework done, she get dinner, and then we'll be right back. And so I thought that was so cool that she just was like, I have that
I love it.
flexibility because of the programs that we offer. And also we provide family nights throughout the year. So we have about 5 or 6 of those where the whole family is invited out. So you imagine a big family meal. If we're doing an activity, the parents are partaking in the activity. They are painting, they're drawing, they're doing the things, and just really building that community so our families feel that safety net and they know that they're not alone. A lot of the times when our parents experience an emergency or something, Developing K.I.D.S is the first call that they make, if not the
Wow.
second. And so it's really important that we build those relationships intentionally and that they know that we're here.
That's awesome.
So
it's really special.
I do want to go talk back to the story that I did a couple years ago when you guys first bought the building. We do have video of what it looked like.
go.
Okay, so here's the
Yeah.
outside of it, and then there's a couple. This is imagine me just like
Yeah.
approaching it like, oh,
Okay.
this is.
You're gonna build what here?
There's the roof.
So what's happening with that roof?
Exactly.
It was a paid actor to just
Right.
hang.
Right. I mean, this was just crazy. But like you said, the founder, she had the vision. And now everything that you're describing, that's the roof.
Yes.
Unreal.
I know. What is it for you looking at this video? What does that mean to
It's
you?
amazing because I remember being with Kim and doing the tours and telling folks like this will be this room, and I'm somewhat believing it because I
Right.
have it mapped out on paper.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yes, and this will be the classroom. But to actually see it and to also see the hard work put into it, like our CEO, she's now like a construction genius. Okay, folks are calling her like, how did you guys make it through? Because it was truly a process. And so at one point there might be the roof being put on. At another point, someone is spray painting on the side of the building. So it was truly a journey and seeing things come to fruition. But the most valuable piece, I would say, is seeing our families enjoy the space.
Yeah.
Like when we have family nights, they don't want to leave. And they're like, well, it's our building now. Who's going to kick us out? So
like,
just
"Oh,
to
you have
see
a
it all
point."
come to pass, and especially because they stuck with us through the transition. So when we told them we purchased the building, you could imagine they're like, oh, yes, next week we're in the building. And we're like, so about that, maybe 2.5 years.
Right.
Maybe. And so for the parents to actually get to see it and just love the space and be grateful for it, even the community, we do a lot of old school door knocking to tell about our programs and to see the neighborhood that we're in, they're like, oh, I'm so glad you guys did something with that building. I will go and check on it when I have free time, and just to see that love that we've received and know that we're making a difference, not just for the young people in our programs, but for the greater community around our new building.
Well, I'm happy you mentioned that because it's located in Northwest Detroit. But you said it doesn't matter the zip code that you live in, anyone is welcome.
Yep.
Can you how can people kind of get involved even if they don't live in the area?
Yeah, so our registration for after-school program is pretty much open online. We ask the basic questions and the family information, but nothing is restricted. We do save about 85% of our spots for Detroit residents, but other than that, there's no barrier. We're not looking at income. We're not looking at how many people live in the household or anything like that. And I can proudly say that our families come from over 50 zip codes across the state of Michigan alone. So not just Detroit. You think families are traveling from Troy at times during the summer to drop their kids off at this full-day free program, even coming from far east side Detroit to drop their kids off. So we have a pretty big, I want to say, footprint in where our families are coming from, and we don't provide transportation. We're not there just yet, and our families are still traveling far and wide to get to our programs.
I mean, you will travel far and wide when something is good for your family.
That's right.
That's for sure.
I know, and this is definitely good for the family. As I mentioned earlier, you guys are celebrating 20 years this year. You have an event lined up. We want to let our viewers know about it.
Yes, so we would love to celebrate with our community. On Sunday, June 7th, we're having what we're calling the Village Fest. And so you just think of the state fair on 6 Mile and Telegraph. We're going to have concessions. We're going to have dunk tanks. Our CEO will be getting dunked. We will have a petting zoo. We'll have face painting, cotton candy, popcorn, food trucks, the whole nine. And the tickets are pretty affordable, $10 for children and $15 for adults to include all of this fun, the mini games that we'll have. And then the next day, on June 8th, which is our actual anniversary, we're having what we're calling Momentum at 20, and that'll be a more formal event emceed by Miss Tati. We're super grateful for her stepping in to do that, and that'll be more formal. You'll get to hear from our CEO about the future of Developing K.I.D.S, so the next 20 years and what that looks like, while also getting a chance to hear testimonials from our alum and our current participants. And the ticket price for that event is $150, and tickets for both events can be accessed at developingkids.org.
Wow.
Amazing. She broke it all the way down.
She did break it all
the
down.
way down. I'm excited. You guys are doing incredible work.
Thank you.
You
Thank
really
you.
are.
Appreciate
Yes.
you.
Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
with us, Samyah.
Of course. Thank you all.